waivers and for the land development approval. We also amended our plans in conformance with your recommendation and theirs. Your engineer has reviewed those and has recommended our approval this evening, as has the Montgomery County Planning Commission. So we think we've dotted all of our I's and crossed all of our T's. If you would like a full presentation with respect to the waivers and the project again, we'd be happy to do that. Our engineer is here with us and can review those things. Or if you're satisfied with where we are at this point, we'll be happy with that as well.
Just for the, if you could just give us, and I enjoy saying this because I've heard it so many times in court, Mr. Graff, I'm going to give you 2 minutes on the floor. That way everyone has an idea of what goes on here. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. The Donnelly Tract, I do have a rendering if we want to put it up, but it's...
by all means, that way everybody gets a bird's eye view of what we're looking at here.
Let me throw it up front here then. Donnelly Tract is approximately 85 acres in total. The proposal is to subdivide it in accordance with your cluster overlay provision. Your cluster overlay allows smaller, denser lots in return for dedicating open space. On this particular property, there's approximately 70 acres of open space proposed. Of that, almost 60 acres is being offered for dedication to Douglas Township. The other 10 acres will be maintained and owned by a homeowners association. That tends to be really the open space around the perimeter of the lots, along with a central green area. Two of the big things that have happened is we did meet with representatives of the Planning Commission and the board and staff to discuss roadway improvements. Based on that site meeting, I think we did talk at the last board meeting. There were recommendations for widening along our frontage that would allow for the widening of the travel lanes and to provide for a 4-foot wide shoulder along our frontage that could serve as a pedestrian access or bicycles, things like that. One of the recommendations by the Planning Commission is that they'd like us to demarcate that 4-foot shoulder with some signs along the road, something similar to a share the road type sign in maybe 2 or 3 locations along the frontage, so people are aware of the fact that that shoulder is going to be used by other people. In addition to that, we've worked with Josh's team, we've worked with the planning agency. The landscaping's been updated based on our site meeting. We've done some things in response to the waiver requests. There's a pavilion that's been added to the green space in the middle. So the pavilion's going to be significant in size and allow for kind of a community facility for people to congregate. In addition to that, there's been some landscaping adjustments and enhancements. Beyond that, our waiver requests really do remain the same. And that's where we are. We're hopefully in a position for preliminary plan approval. That allows us to go to the next step. We still have to go to the Conservation District for E&S approval. We still need our water approval. We still need our sewer authority approval. And all those things are being pursued. But for example, the Conservation District, we can't even apply until we have preliminary plan approval. So that's where we are today.
Now just from, and the reason I ask this is because this site specifically, there are, and I was part of the conversations that were out there. We were out there on that cold afternoon when it was raining and the water was running down. And Mr. Brumwell's looking right at me because he knows where I'm going with this, because there's water issues on that road. Now, just summarily, with what your improvements are going to be, do you feel, in your opinion, is going to increase or take care of some of those water issues, the water laying issues that we discussed out there that day?
Yeah, there's the water laying on near the edge of the road, and the widening that we're going to be providing and the regrading of those areas is going to take care of that issues. Then you have the quantity of water that hits, especially that front corner. A lot of that water is being redirected towards the back of the property so that it ends up flowing off through the back. There is still a stormwater facility along the front, but it has been designed in a way that releases so little water. It's a fraction of what's being seen there today. So based on your ordinance and working with Josh, there's a reduction that we're responsible for with our stormwater management. So it's not just controlling it to pre-development conditions, it's actually further reducing that rate of runoff, which is achieved through this development.
Excellent, thank you. Yes, anyone have any questions?
I have maybe 2.
Okay.
Doing it into the cluster effect like they're doing, looking at the tax revenue, is it advisable for us to go this way? I mean, are we losing tax money having all that open space, or?
It's a floodplain.
That's real wet back there, first
Yeah.
off. The second part of it is like I said, the trade-off and benefit is going to be because it's going to take some existing water issues and funnel them into an area that's not gonna be developed. So that's one of the benefits to doing it that way.
I keep thinking of the schools. We're building more houses. Are we getting more revenues for these schools?
And actually, in projects like this is with the cluster building like this. That's one of the answers to controlling urban sprawl is to build on larger lots, using a large facility like that, building only a segment of it, and allowing the open space to. It does a whole lot more conservatively for the environment. Number one. Number two, because it does immediately butt into another piece of our existing, the Libor tract. It butts right into that, so it's going to enhance that whole site. And then through this, because I did come to some of the planning meetings, and it's not that I'm providing testimony for these guys, their raw facts are, is they're doing enhancements to that, which will also enhance our existing Libor tract as well. So in that plan that they proposed, we're going to benefit on several ways: the water control on the road, the flooding on the road, and then we're going to wind up with enhancements to our open space in the back. So it's actually a real good.
It's a good plan.
That is a good plan.
Yeah, and then the walking.
And then the walk in, so there's going to be opportunity for recreation because there is development. There's that one on the other side over behind where Tommy's property is, the Arnold property comes in. That's kind of the next corner up.
Yeah, I think it's
It's going to work fairly well.
It's not, yeah, and it's a nice piece of ground. It's a good parcel, and the majority of the open space
It's always
is in
been,
floodplain.
it's always been my belief that the more homes we build, more kids we have, the
Exactly.
more
And
schools we have.
I agree with
And
that.
as a taxpayer, we are maxed out
Mhm.
building schools.
Yeah, and this is a minimalistic plan.
Okay.
It's a minimal amount of houses. It's
Right.
a small amount of houses by comparison to what they could actually build there. So. What's that?
Sorry, I've got a question. At the top of that drawing there, that's Tommy Arnold's land. Where's Middle Creek Road on that?
Middle Creek Road is along the left-hand side of that